Hi everyone, welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As always, Rich is doing another video on XRP today. I hope everyone is having a great day wherever they are in the world. We're going to talk about XRP, and I have to start with this from Digital G. If you're discussing XRP with someone, right here you tell them this. First, the native coin of the XRP ledger is called XRP. Second, in terms of market capitalization, XRP is the third largest cryptocurrency globally. 3, there is no need for a gateway or liquidity provider because XRP can be sent straight from any XRP ledger address to any other. Because of this, XRP is a useful bridge currency. It will become the bridge currency of the world. Fourth, XRP plays a special function in the fintech sector. Banks and payment providers use on-demand liquidity, or ODL, to help release funds into their nostril-vostral accounts globally. Fifth, XRP is a currency that deflates, because a tiny percentage of the XRP is lost with every transaction. Sixth, in terms of energy usage, XRP is an efficient and sustainable digital asset. People constantly explain XRP to others, but most of the time they just say, listen, if you invest in XRP, you'll become wealthy in the coming months. Maybe you will become wealthy in the next years. It will be used by the entire world to transfer money across countries. However, it's easier for someone to comprehend what XRP is and what it's designed to do if you really explain it in these terms. I constantly advise folks to be aware of what they are holding when they hold cryptocurrencies. And Paul Barron is the source of this. He discusses how treasury firms are the next big thing, following in the footsteps of ETH. I've been telling you what, this coin is being targeted by treasury firms. Listen to it, acknowledge that it was true. Were you aware of that? I didn't. I am aware that South Korea has extremely large trade volumes. In addition, the country of South Korea is very adept at embracing cutting-edge technology, which they typically pioneer. South Korea has always been an early adoption of innovations, especially those that have emerged in my lifetime. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that they are embracing XRP in this way. It's intriguing that you brought up the $500 million in relation to where you believe Vivo Power can obtain it. Trident Digital Tech Holdings does not have any plans to make an acquisition or strategy of that magnitude. What I'm trying to say is that there is a race going on in the DATs and treasury firms at the moment. Whether or not these will truly be the leaders is my question. When it comes to ETH, BMNR is unquestionably in the lead. They have begun to outperform SB, which is SharpLink Gaming, which is Joseph Lubin, versus BMNR, which is Tom Lee. Next up is Vivo, which is currently sort of at the forefront of the industry. Do you think there will be a new kind of race to hold more treasury, which will name an XRP race? Will that happen when the regulatory frameworks become more clear? Yes, I think so. If you look, I believe, and I concur with that. However, I believe that once regulations are established, that will be the first step. All of these businesses will approve all of these establishments. Well, we need to get XRP on our balance sheet and not sell it when the price goes up, they will say. In addition to using it for cross-border transactions, they are now determining that they can get yield from that XRP to bolster their business. For these businesses and groups, it's a win-win situation. Because of this, I believe that a large number of businesses will enter the market and purchase XRP, creating a shortage. Wrath of Kahneman is the source of this. 2 fascinating facts. UniCredit, a customer of Ripple Payments, recently teamed up with BNP Paribas to handle securities custody. Ripple custody technology is used by BNP Paribas for their cryptocurrency custody. Ripple is therefore linked to both parties in the collaboration. One is in jail and the other is in payments. Additionally, as Ripple users and partners are always growing and developing, we will see more of this. At the same time, they are forming their own alliances. Additionally, more and more rails are being made available for XRP to run on at the same time. At that moment, the SEC begins to crack down on US companies that are allegedly involved in Chinese pump and dump schemes that target professional services that facilitate securities fraud across international borders. They will take a tough stance against all pump and dumps. For this reason, memes will soon be extinct. The SEC is going to hammer down on every single pump and dump once regulations are in place. These meme coins are exactly that. Pump and dump is what most of them are. We've seen it during the entire previous year. Do you recall all the celebrity coins that kept appearing only to turn out to be a rug pull? All of it will soon come to an end. People are still unaware of that. Some people believe meme currencies will be around for a very long time. The Wild West is coming to an end. Mr. Man's risk mitigation approach is the source of this. As you can see, Phase 1 will expand into Layer 2's custody, and feedback integration by the end of 2025. Phase 2, HATE 2025, on-chain digital payments, payment rails and operation resilience. The benchmark framework for native crypto assets is extended to Phase 3 2026. In comparison to real-world use cases, to maintain global alignment, the framework is harmonized with regulatory standards including MiCA, DORA, NIST, and COSO. I've been telling you what, going from one country to another with differing legislation is not an option. There will be uniform regulations in every nation on the planet. Therefore, Tether will not be able to reach the US if they are unable to reach MiCA. The United States is currently using Tether to transfer our debt to Tether. The issue with that is that Tether's value is closely linked to the price of Bitcoin. Consequently, Bitcoin will be affected if Tether fails. But take a look at what they're observing. KYC and AML. The two large ones are them, plus evasion of sanctions. It will all boil down to knowing your customers and preventing money laundering. If neither a wallet nor an exchange is doing it, then those wallets and exchanges will ultimately disappear. Many people will lose a significant amount of their cryptocurrency if they fail overnight. I can't emphasize that enough. Xrp is the source of this. Xrp, the top EU-regulated tokenization platform, is launching a new yield-bearing XRP product. Fill out the form below to show your interest if you own a significant amount of XRP. This is where you can see it. You may go to Xrp to accomplish this. However, everyone is making it easier for users to profit on their XRP. Suddenly that seems to be the new big thing. In 2022, where was this? If it weren't for corrupt Gary at the SEC and a number of politicians in Washington who wanted to squash cryptocurrency, I believe we would have had it back then. We could have all been making money with our XRP during the bear market, you know. And from here, this is the way to go. Making money with your cryptocurrency lets you keep your cryptocurrency without having to sell it. And what have I been explaining about the DNA protocol? I can tell you that they are currently using these locations in Ethiopia as testing grounds for their DNA technique. It almost has the feel of a world currency. Do you recall when they were doing retinal scans? This follows the same route. That did not appeal to me. Recall to have their retinas scanned. People were receiving $10 gift cards. What do people receive in exchange for adding their DNA to the XRP ledger? I wonder. I generally like everything related to the XRP ledger. However, I don't like the DNA protocol. Digital G is the source of this. The very issue that XRP resolves is the same issue that keeps the real price of XRP from being known as long as the old banking system is in place: liquidity. If retail exchanged XRP for fiat at a rate of $15,000 per coin, just think of the mayhem. We are presently very near to the old system's demise. I believe that the price of XRP will increase significantly very quickly once it launches on all of these rails worldwide, and people will come to regret not purchasing this cryptocurrency instead of detesting it. However, ODL is revolutionary. Because of the impending global liquidity crisis that we are already experiencing, that is what it actually boils down to. And isn't it odd that we are aware of the global liquidity problem and its repercussions? During their time with the SEC, what did they do? They spread over the world. They spread throughout all of the nations in the planet. That wasn't a coincidence. That was intentional. Partnerships with xrp and Ripple are revealed in the January 2025 World Economic Forum agenda. Since everyone constantly stated, well, the World Economic Forum is an evil organization, and I completely agree with that. I just wanted to briefly discuss this. For what reason would you ever buy XRP? It's not only XRP.